Good evening, folks. Welcome back. My name's Sandy. This is Sawing with Sandy. I'm inside my shop here tonight, trying to hide out from the rain and also getting away from the setting sun. What I'm doing tonight is I'm going to work on my wood splitter. This thing, if you've been around the channel, is my original wood splitter. This thing needs a little bit of work though. This thing has pretty much been out in the back 40 for the last several months. It's been under a heck of a lot of snow. I had the engine covered, of course, but it's been under a lot of snow because I haven't been using it. Last time I used it, I barely got it running, and when it finally did run, it pretty much sounded like the engine was going to blow at any moment. I was a little scared even standing beside it operating it. Not so much because I had to watch my fingers with the splitting, but because I was worried about shrapnel coming off that thing and hitting me. I'm going to try to fix that up here today. First and foremost, I'm going to try to get it running. Once it's running, then I'm going to try to get it tuned in so it's not going to rev to the moon and back. Anyways, that's what we're up against. Jumping down here just a little bit, you're going to notice immediate issues. This right here is one of them. When I started pulling this out of the back 40, the tire was flat, and by the time I got it here with the ATV, the wheel was, tire was pretty much falling off. We're going to get that thing cleaned up here, put back on, hope it holds there. The next thing we'll address is the recoil there. This bugs me. You guys have equipment like that? I just rewound the spring inside the recoil. I thought I had it fixed. I don't. I think the recoil spring is worn out, so I'm going to put a new recoil on there. I'm also going to put a bit of effort into this carburetor. Now normally I'd take that carburetor off and clean it and clean it and clean it and put it back and it would work. I've cleaned this thing so many times, I'm done with it. I've done everything I can with that carburetor. I'm just going to put a new one on. You can get pretty inexpensive carburetors to go on these engines, and so that's what we'll do. Now, if the issue still persists after that, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe a brand new engine completely, and then I'll call it good. But for now, I put a few bucks into a carburetor, a few bucks into a recoil, and we'll be back in business. If you're interested in the parts I'm using, I'll put it down below in the description as well. Now, this engine here, many people mistaken this for a Honda. This is not a Honda engine. This is a sort of a reproduction or a replica of a Honda. Definitely not a Honda though, but you can put Honda parts on it. You'll see in just a minute what I end up doing. I'm hoping this will provide a good fix for me so that I can either continue using this periodically or I can pass it on to someone else who will use it. Because there's nothing worse than seeing a piece of equipment that can be functional just sitting out in the woods rusting. There's no need for that, and that's not my style, just to throw stuff away. One other thing here I'll mention. See this little deck up here, we'll call it. I welded that on here, and yeah, it's worked out pretty good. You can put a round up there while you're standing on the other side waiting for it to be split. The only trouble is when you're pulling with the recoil, I don't know how many times I've hit my hand right there and cut it open, or the rope has caught it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it back a little bit just to make it a bit better, and just some small things like that. Maybe this right here, see how I bent that at one time or another? We'll just bend that back. And up here there used to be a plastic knob that went on there. Well, I like to do some woodworking from time to time. I turn this on the lathe. We'll get that back on there. Anyways, that's what we're up against. We'll look at the oil in the engine, check the hydraulic fluids, get this thing back in as good a shape as it can be. Anyways, welcome back. Here we go. All right. I was debating taking this wheel right off to try to remount this tire, but we'll try this first. Gotta clean these beads, otherwise you might get a leak. We don't want that. Okay, so far so good. All right, well, I got two ways I can put this tire on, and one way is a lot faster than the other way. Some of you may know what I'm talking about as soon as you see this stuff. Anyways, that'll be the backup. Let's just see if I can get this tire to seat without having to do that. I don't know. just before we take the recoil off, I'm going to just try to get it going just to show you guys the struggle. So fuel is on, that's the choke, and yeah, that's we'll give her a little drink of ether and go from there. You guys want to see some of the Mickey Mouse going on here? So here's some of the trouble. See the linkages? A lot of them are broke, and there's like wire. The wire is holding the throttle in like the only position it would run in. Anyways, we're gonna give her a good drink. We'll give it another drink in just a moment and we'll see. Usually it'll only run on ether if anything. Staying alive? No? Okay, that's about how it normally goes. At this point, I take the spark plug out, I dump a little fuel down the cylinder. Never really runs. We're done here. Let's get a new one on. Alright, here's the replacement. And it's a straight bolt on, which is nice. Okay, let's get the carburetor off. One other thing, you'll see this vent tube back here. There we go. Okay. Well, there's the carb, obviously dirty. Very dusty out where I split wood. This will just pull off. The one thing I got to be aware of is the fuel line. You guys can have a look in there. You'll see the zip tie. Hold on. Okay, well, out with the old and in with the new momentarily. This is the original carb that came with this aftermarket engine, as far as I know. Okay, I think we're in good shape. Here's what we're dealing with. So here's the new carburetor. I'll put the link to this down below in the description. This carburetor here's got everything you need. And so I've got both gaskets in there, and then the carburetor itself. So there's our choke lever. So there we have it. Obviously it's in a little bit better shape than the old one. It's certainly a lot cleaner. I'm going to bolt this thing up and then we'll see how it works. Alright guys, out with the old, in with the new. Moment of truth, everything's hooked up and I got the new recoil on there. The fuel that I had in there originally was new, relatively new, so I put it back in there. I'm going to give it a go. I'm hoping it works. We'll just go full choke, fuel open, and hopefully it doesn't need anything. We'll see. Oh yeah, I'm on at about maybe a quarter throttle or so. That's promising. It's probably going to take a few pulls, fill the bowl in the bottom of the carb. Oh yeah. Let's crank up the RPM. All right. I think we're gonna go. Definitely getting fuel. Well, I'm a bit stumped why it won't run. It's obviously getting fuel. It's got spark in there. It just doesn't want to fire off. I'm not sure why. It fires off periodically and then you hear it go bang and backfires. I don't know what's going on here. Anyways, we'll keep at her. See if we can get it going. You know what I mean? Like when you get that close, you just want to keep at her because it sounds like it's gonna go. I don't know. Like that's so close. I'm afraid of breaking the recoil string. I don't know. I tell you, I'm just about ready to give up on this engine here. I just throw some new parts at it, still doesn't work. I just double checked the oil level as well. There's an oil level indicator, or shut-off indicator, I guess they call it. There's adequate oil in there, so that shouldn't be the issue. The wires hooked up there look good. It turns over, but it doesn't keep going. I tell ya, get a match. On to the store, get a new engine. I'm done. Well, no more messing around. I finally did it. I probably should have done this a long time ago. I just got this delivered a minute ago. Price was right. Oh yeah. Okay, we're starting over here. What do we got? What did I order? 7.5 horses? Is that what I ordered? I could have swore I ordered 6.5, to be honest. No joke. I don't know, maybe that's what I ordered. This was on sale. They were cheap. I think this engine came out to be $170 Canadian. And so by the time you factor in the headache, and if I'm putting a monetary amount on my time, probably would have been further off ahead just to get this when that engine was not working right. Never actually bought a new engine before. Princess Auto, the equivalent in the US is Harbor Freight. I'm sure many of you are aware of that. Hopefully it's identical. Okay, there we have it. Definitely nothing too fancy here. Looks good to me. That should be the same shaft size, 3/4 inch. Let's get her bolted up. Okay. I hope these bolt holes line up. And just if you're interested, at one point in time, this mount, which is stock obviously, it actually broke off, this piece here. So this piece of steel I welded on extra because these mounts are not very strong. And would you look at that, I think the holes are identical. I would say that's going to be an easy bolt on, which will be nice. Holy. Oof, that was on there. Well, I'd say everything's back together. There's fuel, there's oil, everything's bolted up as it should be. I think we might as well just give her a go. Let's take some of the choke off. Oh yeah, I should have done that so long ago. Meaning put a new engine on. It's so quiet. Well, let's say we got one thing left to do. Let's fire this thing back up. It's been warmed up. Tell you guys, it's pretty rewarding after you've spent a great deal of time trying to problem solve and pick away at something, and then you finally get it going again. And well, this will continue on in life as I thought it would one day, but I had my doubts. That engine over there, the one that we got rid of, that was long overdue. I don't know what was going on with it. Many of you probably think I was doctoring it up and trying to get it to rev higher. I wasn't doing any of that. It happened to have sort of an uncontrollable rev to it. I don't know why. And as a result, it's probably best, you know, used as a parts engine, a salvager. We'll take some parts off it like these ones I just put on because they're perfectly good. The recoil is great. Got the carburetor, might as well just reuse it. As I said before, this engine here is a reproduction Honda, so it's not worth a heck of a lot. You know, this one here, which is also a reproduction Honda, this one here is $170 Canadian on sale. This thing is probably the same, so we'll scrap some parts off that, hold them for later maybe if we need them. But overall, that is what I should have done originally. I am really glad that's done. Now it just becomes a matter of getting this thing back out to the back 40. I got lots of wood to split. It is slow as molasses compared to the Easton Made Ultra, but it's still got its purpose, and so we'll get out and put some rounds through it again and get it back to life. So glad you guys all joined me for that little adventure. Many of you are probably just like me. You like to tinker with things and bring them back around for a second life. That's exactly what we did. Guys, take care out there. Be well. I'll see you next time.